Welcome back to geometry. This is geometry, chapter 3, section 1. And what we're going to be talking about is lines and angles. So the first thing is the definition of parallel and perpendicular. So if something is parallel, it is like railroad tracks. The lines going this way. That they always are the same distance apart, they never cross. That they'll always stay the same distance apart. If something is perpendicular, you can think of it as a plus sign. Perpendicular, each corner that is formed by the two lines is 90 degrees. So here we have line AB and CD are parallel. And how I know that is these little red arrows are the symbol that means the lines are parallel. This line going up and down, this BE, is perpendicular to AB because it's making a plus sign. And not only can we have parallel lines or perpendicular lines, we can also have planes. So like here is a picture of two planes, the blue one and the green one, and they are parallel, they're never going to touch. And remember, planes, we draw them like pieces of paper, but really each side is supposed to go off toward theoretical infinity. And here, this plane that contains A, C, and B would be perpendicular to this line BE. The symbol for perpendicular is the red little upside down L. So that's perpendicular, and parallel are usually red, sometimes black, the matching little arrows on the line. Not bad, right? Okay, so next thing, and this is exactly what's on the test, is we have to identify different kinds of lines here. Okay, it says, which is a line that is parallel to AB? Well, DC would be parallel to AB. Also, EF is parallel to AB. Yep. Perpendicular to AB and contains D. If it's perpendicular to AB, it would be AD. So those are at right angles. Skew to AB and contains D. Skew is neither parallel nor perpendicular. So like DC is parallel. AE would be perpendicular, but DH is neither, even though it's never going to touch, it is neither parallel nor perpendicular. Is that the one they give us? They said DG. Yep, that one counts too. DH, they gave us that one. And DE. They said we're all skew. Okay? Name of the plane that contains D and appear to be parallel to plane ABE. So this side right here, a plane that contains D would be DCG, or you could call it DHG. But the other side of the box there is what we contain, which would be a parallel plane. Okay, so here is a picture of two parallel lines. Those red arrows mean parallel. Here's perpendicular lines. That little upside down red L means it's perpendicular. Each of these angles is 90 degrees. Remember we learned about in Euclidean geometry, you use just a straight edge and a compass to make everything. And so this is what you will be doing in your drawing lab. You're going to draw line AB. Then you're going to take your compass and draw this swish around mark. Then you're going to put your compass on A and do a swish. Put it on B and do a swish, which makes it X. And then you make your ruler line up the X and this line, and you will have a perfectly perpendicular line. So that's going to be your drawing lab. The next thing is we're going to be talking about angles formed by a transversal. A transversal is a line that cuts across two other lines. Now usually these lines are going to be parallel, and which will cause certain of these angles to be equal to each other. But on purpose they drew it like this to show you that these are not parallel, and they're actually going to run into each other further down. But this is how you number the angles that you're talking about. So you go around and number them, and then we will talk about ones that have certain relationships, okay? So the first one is corresponding angles. If you look at this plus and that plus, 1 and 5 are in the same position. They're both in the top left of the 4 sections there. Okay, so that is called corresponding angles. So 2 and 6 is corresponding, 4 and 8 is corresponding, and 3 and 7 are corresponding. Okay, alternate exterior angles are ones that are on different sides of the transversal and on the outside of the railroad tracks. So 1 and 8 are alternate exterior, see how they're outside? And 2 and 7 are alternate exterior angles. The next one is alternate interior. So this is inside our railroad tracks, and they're alternating across the transversal. So 3 and 6 are alternate interior angles, and 5 and 4 are alternate interior angles. These names are really important. Sometimes names aren't so important in math, but these are, because we're going to do a lot of proving things with knowing this. And then consecutive interior angles, that means on this inside on the same side. So 3 and 5 are consecutive interior angles, and 4 and 6 are consecutive interior angles. Now, if you look in your book, we have this diagram right here for example 2, and it says list all pairs of angles that do fit the description. So first of all is corresponding. So here are our 2 pluses, and the ones that correspond is 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 4 and 7, 3 and 8. Then it says alternate exterior. So make sure I'm looking at this right. Yep, that's how I do it. Okay, so these are our railroad tracks. That's our transversal. So if we are doing these are our railroad tracks. That's our transversal. So if we're doing alternate exterior, it would be, they're saying 1 and, oh, because they're numbered differently. It's 1 and 7 and 2 and 8. I had my son Josh draw this for me, and he numbered this slightly different than they did. Let me fix it to be numbered like theirs, so that if you're following along in the book, you won't be confused the way I was just now confused. Take all those off and try again. All right, so let's use blue. So this one should be 1, 2, 3, 4 is how they labeled that one, and this one's 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so let's start again here. Corresponding 1 and 5, 2 and 6, 4, 7, 3, 8. Alternate exterior. I did the same thing he did. I was about to say that's the same thing. It's because they did it one way on one side. They did 3, 4, but over here they did 8, 7. That's why I was confused. All right, alternate exterior. Here are our railroad tracks. These are on opposite sides of the transversal. It's 1 and 8 and 2 and 7. Okay, and C is alternate interior. That'd be 3 and 6, 4 and 5. And then consecutive interior, 5 and 3, and 6 and 4. All right, so it's not hard. Study those examples. Let me know if you have any questions, and we will get to do more with this in the next video. My kitty has come to say, hey, she wasn't feeling good, but here she is now. Yes, you want to get down. All right, math is fun.